There's a window in your life, somewhere between the years you stop being a kid and the years you settle into who you are going to be, when the skills you build will decide the next 50 years. Most people sleepwalk through that window. They get a job, they get a paycheck, they get comfortable enough, and they never stop to ask themselves the harder question: what skills am I actually building? What will I be able to do at 50 that I cannot do at 30? Because the truth is, if you do not deliberately build skills during that window, the only thing you will be at 50 is older. Here's the truth. The people who win in the second half of their life are not the people who got lucky in the first half. They are the people who use the first half to build the skills the second half would require. They built quietly. They built deliberately. They built the things nobody could take away from them. And by the time everybody else was hitting their 40s, wondering why their career had stalled out and their finances were stuck and their relationships were in trouble, the builders were just getting started because the foundation had already been poured. So today I'm going to walk you through 10 skills you must develop before 35. 10 skills that, if you can master them in your 20s and early 30s, will set you up for the rest of your life. I am telling you, the version of you that exists at 50 will either thank you or curse you, depending on whether you do the work in the next few years. So pay attention and be honest with yourself about how many of these you can actually do right now. Now, before we get into them, I want you to understand why 35 is the marker. It is not that you cannot learn after 35. You can. Of course you can. But here's the truth. The difficulty curve gets steeper every year after that. The time gets harder to find. The mental flexibility narrows. The responsibilities pile up. The energy you used to have at 28 to stay up late teaching yourself something is not the energy you are going to have at 42 when you have kids and a mortgage and 3 other people depending on you. You see, your 20s and early 30s are the cheapest decade you will ever have to invest in yourself. You have the most time. You have the most energy. You have the fewest people counting on you. You have the most room to fail and recover. And every single skill you build in that window will pay you back for the rest of your life. Every one you skip will cost you also for the rest of your life. So the question is not whether the skills are important. The question is whether you're going to do the work now, when the work is the cheapest it will ever be. Ask yourself this: what can you do today that you could not do 5 years ago? Be specific, not vague feelings about being more mature. Actual skills, actual capabilities, actual things you can do that the younger you could not. If the answer is not much, then you have been spending your 20s consuming, not building. And here's the truth. There is no such thing as standing still in life. You are either building or you are decaying. If you are not adding skills, you are slowly losing the ability to learn them. The brain is not patient. The opportunity is not patient. Use the window while you have it. Because in 10 years, the window is going to close, and you are going to be stuck with whatever you built or whatever you didn't. Number 1, you must learn how to say no without explaining yourself. Most people, when they say no to something, immediately follow it with a long explanation, a justification, an apology, a soft framing, because they're afraid that the no by itself is going to make somebody upset. They say no, and then they backpedal. They say no, but then they say, but maybe, but probably, but I'll see what I can do. And the person on the other end of that no walks away thinking that wasn't really a no. So they ask again. They pressure. They negotiate. And eventually they get a yes because the no was never solid in the first place. You see, the inability to give a clean no is one of the most expensive habits you can carry into your 30s. It costs you your time. It costs you your energy. It costs you your bandwidth for the things that actually matter. Every yes you gave because you couldn't say a clean no is an hour you didn't spend on your own goals. And those hours add up. Over 5 years, they add up to the life you actually want and didn't get. The people who win figured this out. They give a clean no-no explanation, no apology, no long preamble. Just, no, I can't. Or, that's not for me. Or, I'm going to pass. And then they stop talking. They don't fill the silence. They don't justify. They don't soften. They let the no land and they trust the other person to handle their disappointment like an adult. Here's the drill. The next time somebody asks you to do something you don't want to do, give the cleanest no you can. Say, I can't. Don't explain why. Don't apologize. Don't soften it. Just say the word, smile, and change the subject. The first few times you do it, you are going to feel terrible, like you were rude, like you owed them more. You did not. You owe the people in your life a clear answer. You don't owe them a long explanation. And every single time you say a clean no, you are buying back another piece of your life. Next, you must learn how to manage money. And I am not talking about advanced investing strategies. I am not talking about complicated tax planning. I am talking about the basics. The basics that most people somehow get through their entire 20s without ever learning. How to read a bank statement, how to understand interest, how to keep your spending below your earning, how to put money aside before you spend any of it, how to invest in something that grows, how to read the fine print on a contract, how to know what you are actually paying for the things you buy. You see, most people get their financial education from advertising. They learn about money from credit card companies that want them in debt, from car dealerships that want them in a payment, from 1,000 small voices that profit when the consumer doesn't know what they are doing. And that is the most expensive education in the world, because every gap in your financial knowledge gets sold to somebody who is happy to fill it for a fee. Every fee compounds. And by the time you are 40, you have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to people who knew more than you did about your own money. Here's the truth. The basics of money are not complicated. They are not advanced. They are not reserved for finance professionals. They are accessible to anybody who picks up a book and spends 90 minutes a week for 6 months learning them. That is all it takes. 90 minutes a week for half a year. And after that, you will know more about your own money than most people will know in their lifetime. Don't wait on this one. Every single year you go without it, somebody else is making decisions about your money on your behalf. And those decisions are not made in your favor. So pick up the book, listen to the course, do the work. Because there is no other skill that pays you back as directly as understanding how money works. Every other skill on this list takes time to convert into money. This one is money, directly, every single day for the rest of your life. Next, you must learn how to listen to understand, not to respond. Now, this is a skill almost nobody has, because nobody is taught it. Most people, when they are in a conversation, are not listening. They are waiting for their turn. They are formulating their next point. They are thinking about what they are going to say while the other person is still talking. And the person on the other side of that conversation can feel it. They can feel that they are not being heard. They are being processed. Here's the truth. The single biggest skill that separates people who build real relationships from people who don't is the ability to actually hear what somebody is saying, not to plan your counter, not to validate your own position, just to listen, to take in the whole thing, to ask one clarifying question before you say anything else, to make the other person feel like for at least these few minutes, you were fully there with them. People will trust you. People will open up to you. People will bring you opportunities they would never bring to somebody who is always talking, because you are giving them something they almost never get. You see, every relationship you have and every friendship, every business contact, every family member, every coworker is built or broken on this skill. If you cannot listen, your relationships stay shallow. People know how to perform a relationship with you, but they never trust you with the real stuff. And without the real stuff, every relationship in your life stays at the level of acquaintances. Acquaintances do not show up for you when things get hard. Real relationships do. But you only get to the real relationships by listening first. Practice it in every conversation you have. Just listen. Don't plan. Don't interrupt. Don't push your point in. Just hear what the other person is saying and ask a question that proves you heard them before you say anything of your own. Every single time you do it, you are building a skill that compounds for the rest of your life. People will remember you. They will not always remember why. They will just know that talking to you felt different. And that feeling is going to open doors for you that no other skill can. Next, you must learn how to speak up in a room of people who are more experienced than you. This is the skill that separates the people who get promoted from the people who get overlooked. Because here's the truth. In any room where decisions are being made, the people who get listened to are not always the people with the best ideas. They are the people who said something. The ones who stayed quiet got overlooked, even when they were right. The ones who spoke got included, even when they were not. Most young people are afraid to speak in those rooms. They feel like they have not earned the right. They are intimidated by the years of experience around the table. They are worried about saying something stupid. So they sit quietly, take notes, and tell themselves they will speak when they know more. But here's the truth. You will never know enough. The rooms get bigger. The stakes get higher. The people in them get more impressive. And if you are waiting until you feel ready, you got to wait forever. The waiting itself is the problem. You see, the people in those rooms are not waiting to hear that you have the perfect answer. They are waiting to see whether you have the courage to engage, whether you will ask a real question, whether you will challenge an assumption, whether you will offer a perspective they did not have. And every time you do, you are signaling that you belong there. The skill is not having the right answer. The skill is being willing to enter the conversation. Start this week. Find a meeting, find a room, find any setting where the experienced people are gathering, and force yourself to say one substantive thing. Ask one question. Offer one observation. Disagree with one thing somebody said. Every single time you do it, you are making yourself a slightly bigger person in the eyes of the room. And by the time you are 35, you will be one of the people younger people are afraid to speak up around. Make sure that when they do, you are the one who tells them to do it more. Because the room only ever gets sharper when somebody new finds the courage to enter it. Next, you must learn how to write a clear message. Not a beautiful piece of literature, not a poem, not a 5-paragraph essay with a thesis statement. A clear message. The kind of writing that gets read by a busy person and understood the first time. Because that is the kind of writing that runs the world. The letters that get answered, the proposals that get approved, the pitches that get funded, the notes that get the response you wanted. Here's the truth. The single biggest filter on whether somebody gets your idea is whether you can write it down clearly. And most people cannot. They send letters that bury the point in the third paragraph. They write messages that take 3 reads to understand. They use big words to sound smart, when small words would have done the job in half the time. And every single one of those poorly written messages costs them. The deal doesn't happen. The promotion doesn't come. The opportunity goes to somebody else. You see, writing clearly is not a literary skill. It is a thinking skill. The reason most people write poorly is that they're not clear on what they actually want to say. So they hide it in a lot of words, hoping the reader will figure it out. But the reader doesn't have time to figure it out. The reader has 50 other things to read. So they skim, they misunderstand, they move on. And the writer never knew what they missed. Here's how you train it. Write the letter, then cut it in half, read it again, cut another quarter. The point should be in the first sentence. The action should be in the second. The reason should be in the third. Everything after that is optional. Build this habit before 35, and you will have a tool that pays you in every job, every business, every relationship, every negotiation for the rest of your life. Because every time you communicate, you're either making the next thing easier or harder. Clear writing makes it easier. Every single time. Next, you must learn how to sell yourself. And I know that word, sell, makes a lot of people uncomfortable. They think selling is sleazy. They think it means convincing somebody to do something they don't want to do. They think the world should reward them on the basis of their work, without them having to point at it. But here's the truth. The world doesn't work that way. The world is full of talented people who never made it because they refused to learn this skill. And the world is full of moderately talented people who built incredible lives because they did. You see, selling yourself is not about lying. It is not about exaggerating. It is about being able to clearly explain to somebody why what you are offering is worth what you are asking for. Whether you are asking for a job, whether you are asking for a raise, whether you are asking somebody to hire your business, whether you are asking somebody to invest in your idea. Every single one of those situations requires you to articulate your value. And if you cannot articulate your value, the world cannot pay you for it. Most people are bad at this because they were taught that talking about yourself is bragging. So they undersell, they downplay their accomplishments, they wait for somebody to notice. And here's the truth, nobody notices. Nobody is paying attention to your work the way you are. Nobody is keeping a private list of your contributions, waiting to reward you. The people who get rewarded are the people who calmly and confidently can say, here's what I did. Here is the value it produced. Here is what it's worth, and here is what I'm asking for in return. Start small. Before 35, begin by being able to describe what you do in one clean sentence. Then practice asking for what you are worth in real situations. A small raise, a small price increase, a small ask. The early reps will be uncomfortable. They will feel pushy. They are not pushy. They are the foundation of every dollar you will ever earn that wasn't handed to you by accident. Next, you must learn how to finish what you start. This is the skill nobody talks about because it sounds basic. But I am telling you, it is one of the rarest skills in the world. Most people start things. Most people start a lot of things. The starting is exciting. The starting is the dream. But somewhere in the middle, when the work gets boring and the results aren't coming fast and the novelty wears off, most people quit. And then they start something else. and quit that, and so on for 10 years. And by the time they are 35, they have a long list of half-finished things and very little to show for any of it. I once knew a young man who had more talent than anybody his age. He was smart, he was creative, he had ideas every week that other people would have killed for. And every time he had a new idea, he would throw himself into it for about 3 months. He would tell everybody about it. He would build the foundation. He would get to the point where it required real, boring, repetitive work to finish. And right at that point, he would have a new idea. The new idea was always more exciting than the old idea because the new idea hadn't gotten boring yet. So he would drop the old one and start the new one. And he did this for 10 years. One day I sat him down and I told him, "You don't have a creativity problem. You have a finishing problem. And the people who win in this life are not the most creative people. They are the people who can finish what they started, especially after it stops being fun. Because that is when the value gets created. The work nobody wants to do at month 6, at month 12, at month 36, that is the work that produces the result. And if you cannot do that work, no amount of creative ideas is going to save you." He took the advice, he picked one thing, he finished it. It took him 3 years longer than it should have because he kept wanting to quit. But he finished it. And that one finished thing produced more value for his life than all of the previous 10 years of starting combined. Here's the lesson. The skill of finishing is not glamorous. It does not produce inspiration. It does not give you the dopamine hit that starting does. Finishing is a discipline. It is the discipline of staying with something that has stopped being exciting. It is the discipline of doing the small, boring work that nobody is going to congratulate you for. But it is also the only discipline that produces results. Because every result you have ever seen in your life, every business, every book, every great career, every great relationship was produced by somebody who stayed with the work after it stopped being interesting. Build that discipline before 35. Pick one thing and finish it, even if it takes you 3 years longer than you thought. Because the act of finishing one thing teaches you how to finish everything else. Next, you must learn how to be alone with yourself. Now, this sounds soft. It sounds like a self-help thing. It is not. This is one of the most concrete, hard-to-build skills on this list. Because most people, by 35, have built a life so full of noise, so full of inputs, so full of distractions, so full of other people's voices, that they have completely lost the ability to sit quietly with their own thoughts. And the cost of that is enormous. You see, if you cannot be alone with yourself, you cannot make a real decision. Every decision you make is reactive. Every decision you make is shaped by what somebody else said, what the noise around you suggested. You don't actually know what you want because you have never given yourself the silence to figure it out. So you live by default. You take the next job that's offered. You date the next person who's available. You build the life that's in front of you instead of the life that is actually yours. Here's the truth. The most important decisions of your life require silence. They require sitting alone in a room without input, without distraction, and asking yourself the real questions. What do I want? What do I actually believe? Who do I want to be? What am I afraid of? What am I avoiding? And if you cannot tolerate the silence long enough to hear your own answers, those questions never get answered. They just sit underneath your life, unanswered, for decades. And you wonder why you feel restless. You feel restless because the answers were trying to come up and you kept drowning them out. Here's how you start. 5 minutes a day, alone with yourself. No noise, no input, just sitting. The first few days, you will be uncomfortable. Your brain will scream for stimulation. Stay there, stay with it. Slowly, the brain will calm down, and the deeper voice will start to surface. And that is the voice you have to learn to hear, because that is the voice that knows where your life should actually go. Build that connection before 35, and you will never spend the rest of your life living somebody else's story by accident. Next, you must learn how to handle a hard conversation. And by hard conversation, I mean a conversation where you are going to say something the other person does not want to hear, where you're going to set a boundary, where you're going to deliver feedback, where you are going to push back on something somebody said, where you are going to tell somebody the truth they have been avoiding. Most people are terrible at this. They avoid the conversation for months, sometimes years. They build up resentment instead of saying the thing. They write long, careful messages that bury the point in apology. They wait for the right moment, which never comes. And while they wait, the situation gets worse. The relationship deteriorates. The problem grows. The cost compounds. Here's the truth. There is no version of life, no career, no marriage, no friendship, no business, where you avoid hard conversations and the situation improves. The situation only improves when somebody is willing to enter the conversation. And the longer you wait, the harder the conversation gets, because resentment has been building underneath the surface the whole time. So the cost of avoiding hard conversations is never zero. It is just paid in a different currency, usually the slow death of the thing you were trying to protect. Start with a conversation you have been avoiding for the longest. Pick a quiet place. Be direct. Be calm. Lead with what you have observed, not what you have interpreted. Be specific about what you need. Listen to the response. Don't backpedal. Don't apologize for raising the issue. Every single hard conversation you have, you get better at the next one. By 35, the people who built this skill are the ones running things, because they can have the conversations everybody else is too afraid to have. And the people who didn't build it are still avoiding the same conversations they should have had 10 years ago, watching their lives get smaller as a result. Next, you must learn how to fail and keep going. This is the skill that decides whether you ever build anything in your life. Because here's the truth. You are going to fail. Not maybe, definitely. You are going to put yourself out there. You are going to invest in something. You are going to start a thing. And some of those things, maybe many of those things, are going to fall apart. And the only question that matters is, what do you do then? Do you stop, or do you keep going? Most people stop. They take one failure as evidence that they were not meant for whatever they were trying to do. They draw the conclusion that the system is rigged, or that they are not talented, or that it just isn't their time. And they go back to the safer life, the smaller life, the life that doesn't risk anything. And they live the rest of their life telling themselves a story about how they tried once and it didn't work. But the truth is, they didn't try once. They tried for a moment, and a moment is not enough. You see, every person who has built something significant has a failure record that would shock you if you saw it. The successful entrepreneur you admire, look at their first 3 businesses. The author you respect, look at the manuscripts they couldn't sell. The leader you follow, look at the early roles they got fired from. None of them got it right the first time. None of them got it right the third time. They just kept showing up after the failure, and eventually one of the attempts worked. And then everybody acted like they had been brilliant the whole time. They weren't brilliant. They were resilient. Build it deliberately before 35. The way you build it is by failing, on purpose if you have to. Take the risk. Try the thing, make the bet, and when it doesn't work, and some of them won't, train yourself to do one thing. Get up the next morning and start the next attempt. Don't sit in the failure. Don't tell the story about it for 6 months. Just keep moving, because every single failure that you walked away from is a tuition payment that you will use later on the thing that finally works. And the people who quit are just the ones who left before the tuition paid off. So here's what I want you to carry with you. Most people are going to walk through their 20s and early 30s consuming, comparing, and waiting. They will tell themselves they are getting older, more experienced, more capable. But if you actually checked, they would not be able to name a single skill they built deliberately in the last 5 years. And by the time they are 35, they will be older versions of who they were at 25, with more bills and less time. You can be different. You can use this window, the cheapest, most flexible, most powerful window of your adult life, to build the skills that will pay you for the next 50 years. How to say no, how to manage money, how to listen, how to speak up, how to write clearly, how to sell yourself, how to finish what you start, how to be alone with yourself, how to handle a hard conversation, how to fail and keep going. 10 skills. None of them require special talent. All of them require deliberate work. So today, pick one. The one you know you are weakest in. The one that scares you a little to even name. Start there. Spend a month on it. Then add the next one. Then the next one. And by the time you are 35, you will not be like the people around you. You will be somebody people come to. You will be somebody who can handle whatever comes. You will have built a foundation that nothing can take away because it is inside you. And here is the truth. The version of you that exists at 50 is already being built today by the choices you are making, by the skills you are or are not developing, by the work you are or are not doing. So make sure that version of you walks into the second half of life with the tools they need. Not because anybody is going to congratulate you for doing the work, because they won't. The work is invisible. But the result of the work is the only thing that will be visible when everybody around you starts to ask how you did it. And you can tell them the truth. You built it, skill by skill, day by day, starting today, every single day, until you became the person nobody could ignore.